Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Monetize Your Message, a weekly live training with myself, Evolve Benton. If you're watching now, just put hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching in the near and dear future, put hashtag replay. I'm thankful to be here. One thing I want you all to know is that I apologize in advance if you hear any background noise. My house is currently going through a little bit of a demolition, so there might be some noise in the background, but I'm hoping it won't be too distracting so that we can get into this conversation about the powerhouse of LinkedIn groups. So today we're going to be talking about why LinkedIn groups are so profitable and also a great way for us to build relationships with decision makers that are going to help us change the world by getting paid to speak and consult. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about what are LinkedIn groups and where do they come from. So before we get into today's conversation, y'all know I love to start off with some wins. So I want to acknowledge a few amazing clients that have been doing some amazing work. And then I also want to acknowledge one of my own personal wins when it comes to utilizing LinkedIn groups. So I want to shout out my client, Jason Thompson, who is an amazing DEI professional, but also just started a merch line called Diversity Merch. So if you go to diversitymerch.com, you'll be able to check it out. And this platform is really cool that Jason and his team have created, because if you are a DEI consultant or practitioner and you want the opportunity to put your logo or your mission statement on merch, but you are tired and don't want to have to build out a whole not Spotify, but a whole website or anything like that, Jason and his team will do that for you. So congratulations, Jason, on that accomplishment. I also want to shout out my client, Spirit. Spirit has been an amazing client and doing some really cool work around supporting people with collaboration, especially people who are doing work in collaboration in art spaces, right? Because as an artist, we often can show up and say we want to create together, but do we talk about what happens when we get in conflict or what happens when we don't agree? So I know that my client Spirit recently signed a new client, and that's just a big deal for them because that's a win. And then the last client that I'll shout out for today is my client Lucinda. Lucinda, I want to send you some good energy because Lucinda has had what we call a slower start in speaking for profit because of some fear and maybe a little bit of doubt around her offer, around what she was going to speak about. But now it's just really moving forward and really kicking some butt. And really reaching out to people with intentional messaging about how she can come and support them and how her folks can support her. So shouts out to all of the clients who are moving things forward and who are very successful right now with some of the tools in speaking for profit, but also just by being the CEO of their life and of their business, which I think is very important, right? We are an incubator. We are a university. We help people get to their next level, but we realize that our clients are the CEO of their lives and their business. So I'm not taking credit for any of their work. I'm just shouting them out because I really want to show them that I appreciate them and I appreciate the work that they're doing. I want y'all to know this. Being a speaker and a consultant is not an overnight business, and it's not an easy business. It's something that you have to consistently build to and build towards. And it's something that you have to consistently think about doing work to increase your profitability and your credibility. So it's a long game business. This isn't, I'm going to get in and do it for about a year or a few months and then move past it. It's really something that we want to do and we want to be consistent with. So for folks who might just be getting on, we're about to get into the training. I just wanted to do some shouts out and some wins. Going to put live, hashtag live in the comments or hashtag replay if you're watching later. And I also told y'all in the beginning, you might hear some noise. You might have heard it just now. I have some demolition work being done at my house, but hopefully it won't be too chaotic as we go through this training today. So the first thing let's talk about is what are LinkedIn groups, right? LinkedIn groups are a way, just like Facebook groups or any other group platform, for you to build connections with people on LinkedIn, whether that be decision makers, recruiters, people who have common interests, and for you to be able to support each other's work. Now, what's great about LinkedIn groups is you can make them private, you can make them public. You yourself can start one today, but what I love about it is, for a fact, when you go into that group, there's probably going to be like-minded individuals, right? Which takes you from being on a platform of a billion people where some people might be like-minded, other people might not, to being on a platform where you know that the people in the group are most likely going to be the people that you want to reach out to. And that is really powerful because when we are really getting into the nitty gritty of starting our businesses and being successful, one of the main things that we want to do is make sure that we're not wasting our time. And if we decide to go out into an ocean full of people that we don't know if we have a common interest, we can feel like we wasting our time. So you know how you might read a marketing book or a branding book and it says, you need to find your people. That is what you're doing when you look into a LinkedIn group that you have a common interest with. I remember when I first started working in higher education. I worked in higher education for about 12 years. If anybody else worked in higher education, just going to put the word higher ed in the comments. When I first started working, one of the first campuses that I worked at was at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Shouts out to any Bruins that are out there, but fight on because I grew up near USC. But, anyways, when I started working at UCLA, I had reached out to one of my really good friends who was already in higher education. And his name was Van Bailey. His name is Van Bailey. He's still in higher ed and still doing amazing work. And my mentor, Van, my really good friend, I said, Van, I'm feeling lost on campus. I don't really know what to do. And what did Van tell me? Van told me the same thing I'm going to tell you today. Find your people. He said, find your people. He said, I'm sure that there's some people on campus who look like you, who are down with the same things you're down with. Meet with them. Go to the different employee resource groups. Go to the different staff development groups. Go to this. Find your people. And that's what we're going to learn how to do today on LinkedIn groups. The other reason that LinkedIn groups are so powerful, folks, is because LinkedIn has grown the last few years to billions of people, but not just billions of people who are here in the US where I am, billions of people around the world, right? So this gives you a global perspective on the type of people who are doing your work. A really cool thing that happened to me, I met someone in a LinkedIn group that actually lives in Netherlands. And recently I was there for Beyonce. I went to a Beyonce concert, but also there for some professional development. And I didn't get to meet him, but just the thought process of when we got to talk about Netherlands, he gave me some really good advice. And he's doing some really cool work around like DEI and technology. And I was like, I had no idea that people in Netherlands even really cared about diversity, equity, and inclusion in this same way. So we were able to really have a great conversation. And I actually met him in a LinkedIn group. So it's a powerhouse, it's an amazing space, and it's really a platform where you can find your people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you on LinkedIn where you can particularly find LinkedIn groups and how you can find the ones that are good for you and that connect to your business. So before I go on and share that, I do want to give you an opportunity to get a free gift for being at today's training. If you would like, go on and text me the word 5 to 323-405-9492. And I'm going to send you a link to my 5-figure speaking proposal masterclass. If you're watching this training and you're interested in LinkedIn groups and how to grow your speaking business and monetize your message, I'm sure that eventually you're going to find someone that wants you to send them a proposal. And I want you to be in the best energy and have the best template and information to be able to do that. So I've put together this masterclass to help you with developing those skills and putting together that 5-figure proposal. The other reason I want you to go on and send me the word 5 is that if you do sign up for my text message list, don't worry, I'm not going to text message you every day, but you will get announcements when these live trainings are happening, these free trainings, so that you can come and get the knowledge, be in the space, be in the energy, and be able to learn. So go on and text me. I see that some people are putting #5 into the comments, and I just want to be really gentle with you all, but give direction. I need you to go on and text me this. So use your phone, go to your phone, text the number 323-405-9492, and you're just going to text me the word 5, and then you will get that training, and that training will be sent right over to you. All right. So someone asked, what's the number again? So what I'm going to do is go on and put that up. And I'll leave it up for a minute just so you can go on and get that. But it's 323-405-9492. All right. I hope you were able to grab that. Perfect. So let's get into this training. Let me get into sharing my screen so you can see how this machine can particularly work for you and for your business. And I see people are still putting the number 5 into the comments, y'all. Text the number. Text the number. Don't put it into the comments. Thank you. All right. So let me go on and share this with y'all. Okay, beautiful. So when you go on to LinkedIn, you're going to see groups as one of the things that you can utilize. What I usually do is I just go on and like search groups, and then groups pop up right here. You can go in and filter what you search. So let's say that there's somebody who's interested in diversity and inclusion. You put diversity and inclusion into the search bar on LinkedIn, see some jobs popped up, which is great. But what you also see that popped up are groups here. So you're just going to click groups, and that's going to give you a list of groups that are coined and called diversity, equity, inclusion, right? Now, what's great about this and what I love that LinkedIn has done a very, very good job at, it'll tell you how many members are in the group. It'll tell you the group's description or mission. So you can really weed through and see what are the top groups in your category and how you want to utilize them. You also can add some filters in. It doesn't look like it gives you a lot of filters for groups, but in the future, I'm sure that LinkedIn will add that. Now, let's talk a little bit about, now that we know how to like search for a group, right? And I'll show you some other topics and industries we can look into. If you go on and put them in the comments, what do you speak about? And we'll see what groups are available. But I want to tell you what I look into when I'm thinking about if a group is worth joining or if it's successful. So what I normally will do is I'll click the group, right? Is it an active or a listed group? Because sometimes listed groups are groups that are available, but they're not really active, right? So we want to see if it's actually an active group. Then I go in and I see how many people are actually utilizing the group. Because sometimes, and I know y'all probably have seen this before, you'll go into a group and you'll realize that it's the same people utilizing it. Like it's the group organizer that's the only one posting. So especially when it comes to LinkedIn groups, I want to see if there's more availability. So it looks like with this group, there's quite a few people who are adding in value about different things that they're doing, which makes me feel like, okay, this might be a spot that I want to hang out in, right? Maybe this is a spot I want to be in. So what you would simply do, I think I'm already a part of this group. Yeah. So I can't add myself to the group. So I'll try to look for a group I'm not a part of to add myself to. But what I would do if I was you, and I'm going to tell you a story after this. I always, if I join a group, once I'm in the group, I will put an introduction post up so that people know who I am and introduce myself to that group. It's so important that you don't just get in the group and start asking questions, or maybe, you start liking things that Oliver put up or stuff like that. No, what we really want to do is we want to get in and get engaged to see if people will engage with us, one, but also to be a really good group member. Now, one of my clients, which is really, really amazing, y'all, went into a LinkedIn group, did an introduction post, and 2 weeks later got a paid opportunity. So when you do your introduction post, I want you to think about it this way. We don't want to just tell people in the introduction post who we are and what we do. We really want to be clear on who we are, what we do, and also what we're looking forward to or wanting to get from the group. So my client was very direct by saying, I'm a speaker, I'm a consultant, I speak about LGBT health, and I'm really interested in supporting organizations with their trans health policies, right? I know that their introduction was a lot longer than that. I'm giving y'all a synopsis, but my whole point is they didn't just go in and say what they do. They went in to say what their mission is and how they want to impact and support people. And we want to be good with that as well. We don't want to just go into the group and make it about us. We want to share with folks how can we create impact and how can we support them. So this is an example of an amazing group. Now, the way that you can find some decision makers, right? If it's a really active group, then there's already people who are doing really amazing work. So look at here, Oliver, right, is doing some work around disability consultants, right? And has added a resource page. I can click on Oliver's profile and see what Oliver is doing and decide for myself, do I want to follow? Sure. I want to follow some of Oliver's work. And let me go on and connect with Oliver as well. So if you do join a group, the great thing is you can go through, see who's active and start to build relationships with people that way. The other thing that I think is really amazing, this group has an option to do this. Some groups don't. You can do polls in this group to see, okay, how many folks would be interested? Let's say you're a DEI wellness practitioner and you want to help DEI folks with getting more well. You could say, how many folks are interested in attending a meditation workshop on this date? And then you could do a poll in here, right? And this is a group of what did we see in the beginning? Let's go back, of over 59,000 people, right? So how many people can you get information for them? So there's so many ways that you could use this, but the two ways that I just now suggested, one, introduction post, well, three. One, introduction post so that people can know what you're about to potentially hire you. Two, you can utilize it to do a poll and see where your particular ideal audience is living and breathing and what are the things that they need. And then three, you can use it to find decision makers and to be able to connect with them. So it seems like under diversity, equity, and inclusion, there's some really cool groups. Other one I wanted to look under that I often meet people who are doing work around is around well-being, right? A lot of people want to do work around well-being at the workforce. So let's see what groups come up when we put in well-being. All right, look at this. We've got growth mindset and well-being, inclusion, diversity, belonging, empowerment, health and well-being, healers, therapists, and well-being news. This might be a good person because you'll be in commonality with other people who are doing the work. Employee well-being, right? HR review in the UK. This might be a great space. Health and well-being at work. This is really a powerhouse, right? Look, the aim of this group is to give the members the opportunity to discuss health at work and share knowledge and best practices. I'm sure there are going to be some people looking for some training and development there as well. So, one thing I want you to know about LinkedIn groups, right? You have to join them. Oftentimes they're private, so people are going to view your profile. They're going to view your profile. So it's important that before you start joining these groups, you make sure that your profile is amplified and represents you in the best way so that people can approve you with ease and they understand your professional background and how you can add value to the groups themselves. So let's look up another topic. Do me a favor, folks. Put your speaking topic into the comments and then I'll look up and see if I can find a group that can support you. So I'm going to put that in the comments if you have a speaking topic you want me to look up. Let's continue to look at well-being though, because there's some really cool stuff here. And look, like remember I was telling you all this even goes internationally. So workplace well-being, Ireland community, right? Maybe you want to go to Ireland, right? And you could put that in the search, right? You could put well-being and then maybe you want to say Los Angeles and see what comes up. That's where I'm from, so of course that always comes to mind. Okay, nothing came up for that, and that's okay. Maybe we put in, let's see if anything comes up for California. Look, Wellbeing Economy Alliance, California. All right, and this looks like this actually isn't a group. It looks like it's actually a business, but they do have a group as well. Only 5 members, but something did come up. So you can add extra information in there to see if it's available and if it'll actually come up for you. All right. I see if someone say work grief and loss in the Latina community. All right, let's see what groups come up for that. Let's just look up grief and loss first, and then we'll go into the intersectionality. All right, there's a nice amount of groups around grief and loss. right? Grief and loss. I was a Red Cross volunteer 9/11. Wow, that's got to be a powerful story. Art therapy when it comes to traumatic grief, end of life grief and loss discussion group for professionals, pet loss, which is always interesting. And as we can see, a lot of these groups don't have a lot of members, and I would suspect that they wouldn't, right? Because grief and loss is one of those topics that I think is really challenging for folks, right? So a lot of them have maybe one or two members. It's not a lot of folks who are showing up for it. And then as we move through, we start to have more conversations around bereavement. Let's see, because bereavement is more of the professional term. So let's see if bereavement comes up more than grief and loss, since it's more of a professional term. Okay, see, when we put in bereavement, we get a little bit more, right? We actually have the International Bereavement Specialist Group, which might be a good one to introduce yourself to and connect with. It already has 3,000 members. You would be the next one, 3,001, to join that group as well. So they probably have a group for everything. And this is where you find the gap, y'all, right? This is how you find the gap. If you go on here on LinkedIn and you don't see a group under the category that you speak about, it's up to you, right? To go on and create that group and be an amazing resource for LinkedIn. Because if you can be seen as a powerhouse on LinkedIn, right? If you can be seen as the person who's adding value on that topic, that's how you build credibility. And that's how you have a funnel where people are coming to you to speak instead of you reaching out to others. Eventually, that's what you want to have in your business. You want to be so much of a powerhouse that people know you, they love you, they trust you, and you can do that by building out a group. So if you go on there and you don't see the group under your topic, don't feel like you need to be in a place where, oh, it doesn't work for my topic or it doesn't work for me. Be the one to create the group so that other people can join it. Don't do that. Lead. A lot of us want to be speakers and consultants, but we don't want to be leaders. And a part of being a speaker and a consultant is being a leader. You're leading with your voice. You're leading with the superpower. It's a spell. When you're able to speak, it's a spell. You're putting a spell over people, and it's not in a witchy way or in some weird woo-woo way. What I'm literally saying is our words are powerful when they manifest things in the world. So you are a leader when you step into a space and you get a microphone in your hand and you use your voice. So don't be afraid to be a leader when it comes to these groups as well. I doubt if I'm going to put it in just to see, because the person said grief and loss in the Latina community. I'm just going to see if they have it, and they probably don't, which means that you should be the one to go on and create that, right? So let's look it up and see. Bereavement groups, Latino. All right. I don't see anything. Let's say Latina. I don't see anything, which is great. That means that we need to put it in. Let's go on and put in grief group. Grief. Let's do that and see if that brings it up, because that might be what's going on. Oh, it still doesn't come up. That means that there's space for you to add value there. So let's go back, because I want to show you also something else really cool. Go to the diversity and inclusion one again. And then we'll go back over to groups. So the cool thing, y'all can see I'm in the DEI space, right? Because I'm in all of these groups. So let's say I wanted to join this group right here, right? I'm gonna click join, and then I click on the group. Many times the group, even without you joining, will already have information there. So what often happens is you can set up the group to send, right? Group admin sent you a welcome message where you automatically have a welcome message that gets sent out to folks who join the group. But the other thing is, I would always go and look at the group admin and go on and follow and add them as a friend, because if they've had the courage or the energy to create a group, then they probably have a really strong network, right? So why not add them That should be the first person that you add in your groups when you go in to be able to build relationships with. Find the admin, right? And the admin are often on the side so that you can connect with them and start to build a relationship. The admin's going to always probably send you a welcome note, but I think one thing that makes you stand out is when you send the admin themselves a welcome note, because oftentimes they don't get those, right? So you can click on Joe. We're already, it's pending, but let's see. Message Joe. I will wait for the connection because sometimes these messages don't go through, but you can wait for the connection and then send Joe a message and say, "Hey, I just joined your group. I'm so excited to be there." And I'll probably send that to him tomorrow. I want to learn more about why you got this group started. One more pro tip before we wrap up. For my podcasters, how many folks are podcasters or YouTubers in this space? Put the word podcast into the comments if you are, and put the word YouTube in the comments if you are. Because I just came up with this idea and I got to share it with y'all because I'm just thinking about it for myself. If I'm looking for podcast guests, this is another way that I would use these groups, right? If I was looking for people to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, or to talk about mindfulness, or to talk about any professional topic, I would look in the group, I would add the admin, and I would ask them to be a part of my podcast. This is also a great place to find that type of information. The other thing that you can do if you're trying to get more subscribers to your podcast and your YouTube is that once you become a member of these groups, you can share your episodes with them so that you can grow your subscription base. So whether you're speaking for profit in the traditional sense and going in and doing keynote presentations, or you're speaking for profit and you're a podcaster, or you're a YouTuber, either way it goes, I want you to learn from today's training that you should be building connections with people every day that don't know about you or your brand or your business, that want to learn more about it. If you've learned anything today, I hope you've learned that. Go on and put a 1 in the chat if you're going to implement today and go on and join a LinkedIn group. Put a 1 in the chat if you're going to do that, because I want you all to know that this is not something that you have to think about. Do it, implement it, and get into action. We don't want to spend a lot of time browsing the groups. Just go on and join them, because this is the one thing I want y'all to know. As quick as you can join, boo, you could leave. So if you get in the group and you like, this ain't really the group I'm about, I don't really like this group, it's not really working for me, then just leave it. You don't have to overcommit to anything, but it can definitely help you build your professional profile. So before I go and head out, I want to thank you all for being at today's live training. I also want to share with you all one more time that I have a masterclass called the 5-Figure Speaking Proposal Masterclass that can help you put together your next 5-figure speaking proposal. This is for speakers and consultants who are trying to secure the bag. Maybe you had a great discovery call with someone in the last couple of weeks. Maybe you met someone in a LinkedIn group or at a networking event, and you want to submit a proposal so that you can secure the bag and create impact at that organization. I want you to be able to do that with as much confidence as possible. So go on and text the word 5 to 323-405-9492, and we will send that masterclass to you. The other thing I want to share with you all, right, that is a shameless plug, but not shameless at all, because I have no shame about this amazing work that I'm doing. I was actually on a call with someone today, and they said, Evolve, you know what? I really want to share with you that I'm sorry for wasting your time. And I want you all to know that anytime I'm on this mic and I'm speaking to y'all, whether I'm on a Zoom call or I'm here on YouTube or wherever it may be, it's not a waste of my time. It's a part of my act of service, and it's a part of my contribution to this work as a communicator, as a speaker, and as a speaking for profit coach. So you're never wasting my time. One opportunity that you are going to have in the near and dear future to spend a whole lot of time with me is in a few weeks. In August, I'm going to be hosting a 5-day challenge called the 5 Days to 5-Figure Speaking. And this is only for serious speakers and consultants who want to learn the terminology, who want to learn the strategy, who want to learn literally the roadmap on how to move from 0 to 5-figure speaking opportunities in a week. We're going to do it. It's going to be an intensive. It's not a free event, but I'm putting it at a price that's going to help you all get started and it's going to be easeful for you. So if you want to be one of the first people to get an invitation to this amazing 5 days of training, go on and put the word challenge into the comments, and I will make sure that me or one of my team members reach out to you and then and make sure that you get that invitation first. Just go on and put the word challenge in the comments. This 5 day challenge is going to be one of my most in depth trainings that I've done before because what I'm noticing is that a lot of people just need the basics to get their next opportunity so that they can really believe in themselves. All you need is the basics. You need to understand the roadmap. So, one of the first things that we'll do in that training is we'll talk about what is your I help statement? How do you help people? What industry do you want to speak to and how do you want to impact people? The other thing that we're going to talk about is how to utilize a powerhouse like LinkedIn Sales Navigator to connect with decision makers around the globe. I'm also going to give you templates, strategies, and tip sheets that you can utilize along the process. It's going to be 5 days. And like I said, it's only for people who are dedicated and who are serious about not speaking once a year, not speaking twice a year, not speaking 3 times a year, speaking at their own capacity. I want you to speak as much as you can and make as much money as you can. And I want you to get to the bag quicker so that you can impact the world. Because the one thing I know is this: if half of us were not feeling financially insecure, if half of us were not sitting in scarcity and doubt, how much will we be able to deliver from this microphone? How much value will we be able to add to the world if we didn't have to worry about bills piling up or debt piling up or any of the things that are excuses on why you have not gotten started to communicate your message to the world and to save the world? The only thing that's probably in between you and that is the lack of income. And I don't want that to be an excuse for you anymore. So I'm taking 5 days, August 21st through the 25th. It's the 5 days to 5 figure speaking gigs challenge to teach you and to commit to you that time so that you can have space with me. You can be trained, you can be supported. And it's only going to be $47, y'all. It's going to be a very, very easy fee for you to get in and for you to show up. So if you're interested in being there live, go on and put the word challenge into the comments. Like I said, we'll reach out to you in the next few days once we get some things up, and you'll be the first person to be there. This challenge is not going to be open for everyone. I only want people there that are serious and committed to changing the world and to changing their lives through speaking and consulting. This has made some of my clients enough money and enough impact to be able to go on vacations they've never been on, to be able to buy properties, to be able to get financially free, to be able to retire their parents. This is a serious business. And if you're able to use your skill set, which I want y'all to remember this, 85% of people are afraid to do what I'm doing right now, which is speak to you all on live or go live in public with people. 85%. So if you don't have that fear, you're a superhero. And I want you to not alleviate or run away from your gift and not give it a chance. So I hope to see you at the challenge. Go on and put the word challenge in the comments if you want to be there. I want to thank you all again for being at today's training. I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that you get into some LinkedIn groups that are able to help you change your life, help to connect you with decision makers that are going to impact your business, and really help to build credibility around the amazing brands that all of you are building. So have a great week. I'll see you all next week for our next live training. And I just want you all to know that I really appreciate you. And I hope you have an amazing week. All right. Peace.